We can see you, but
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
John, can you
I'd
see
like
me?
to see if you were more to the right. I could see.
I'm
I
in the middle of the picture. I can see myself in the middle. Can you see
a
it?
little bit to the right. That's fine. There's super. Thank you.
Excuse me, I've got ulcers that I can't get rid of it. So this is what I'm saying. On these difficult times, which is a difficult time, not obviously we can imagine the people who are affected directly. They speak about 1,300, more than 1,300 people were killed in one day, in Yom Kippur, on Shabbat, and a couple of thousand injured. It's a shock. It's a shock to everybody, but of course, those that are feeling the most are the families. They tell stories. I don't know if that come, if you follow the internet, whatever, are these brutal animals, not human beings. You kill, but in a war you kill, but you don't go and kill innocent children and old people, and just you can't understand where are these human beings. But as I said, it shows you the human being himself is able to do every cruel things in life that you wouldn't imagine.
Yes.
However, this is something that we have to understand that we cannot understand. At this point in time, we don't understand what is the message that God gave us this terrible, this terrible thing. One thing that I try to explain to myself, maybe this tragedy would bring unity among the people, because what happened, the nation, the people were so split, and the hatred that prevailed, it's indescribable, undescribable, you can't describe it. And maybe, as we see now, the latest now, here the news, that some part in the political, in the Knesset, in the parliament, those that were in opposition, some of them are joining the government. So this is first step to bring perhaps kind of unity. But still the question is, the price for this, it seems to be a terrible, terrible expensive price, number one. Number two, does it mean to say that we are seeing ourselves as united nation, united people, only in tragedies? If the tragedies are over, we don't see ourselves that we are brothers and sisters? Does God have to prove it to us through tragedy? This is something difficult to understand. obviously, after things will finish, I'm sure will be all kinds of inquiries to find out if it wasn't the fault of the leadership, of the army leadership, but and there are some people already started to blame Netanyahu and others, which could be, but obviously this is not the time to blame and criticize. The time now to see that how to fight the danger. Here in Israel, I just came from Shul. It was a very, very emotional davening for the welfare and for to God. As I said, as people who believe, we know that you cannot. Chazal, the Rebbe said, you cannot rely on yourself. You cannot rely on human beings. אין לנו אלא להישען על אבינו שבשמיים. The only power that we can rely on is God. But sometimes it's difficult to understand his ways. What does he want to tell us? And everybody should try to think to himself individually and collectively. What could have been the message that God is trying to tell us? And yeah, I see that Reuven is not here. I don't know.
So Reuven did send his apologies.
Okay.
There is a webinar tonight. He
Okay.
wants to attend the webinar.
Okay.
So it's 7:30 his webinar. So he
Okay.
said he will try maybe later to join, but he wants to join. He wants to go.
Okay. Okay.
Rav,
So,
Rav, can I say something? Can I just say, I just came back from Har Herzl, from a funeral for, he was an officer, Dekel, I didn't know, but I thought I must go. I felt I needed to go to a funeral. And the person, the soldier who was buried, his name was Zichron Livracha, was Dekel ben Moshe and Gila Suissa. And the Rav who started to speak when they were giving their spadim said something unbelievable. He said, here in Beit Vegan, some of the Talmidim went to their Rav and they said, can we go to Chul, to the Kforim of the Tzadikim? And the Rav looked at them and he said, why don't you just walk up the street? Go to Har Herzl, there you'll find Tzadikim. And you know, there were thousands of people at the funeral. Everybody was crying when they heard that. And they said that this young soldier, Dekel, was really a tzaddik. They started singing Miyachofetz Chaim. It was so moving. It was so unbelievable.
what is the officer?
He was an officer. Yeah, he was 23 years old. He was killed on Simchas Torah. And there were so many thousands of people at this funeral. I just happened to go, and it was his funeral. But just to be there,
you didn't know him.
No, but you just feel part of Am Yisrael. It's so special. And when we were leaving, people were giving out food and sandwiches, and you just felt so connected. Everybody was connected. Everybody was in pain, you know, for a soldier that a lot of the people didn't even know, but we all felt pain of the family. We really felt Am Yisrael, that we won.
Yeah, so this is what I said. I don't know if you heard me when I said
Yeah, sure.
Unfortunately, that we feel connected only when it comes to tragedy. Why do we have to wait for a tragedy? Why don't you have to? Why can't we? I mean, okay, we understand that people don't have to think the same. Everybody has got his own thought, but why become animosity, hatred? This we don't understand. So it could be that one of the lessons that God want to teach us, see if there is a tragedy, then you become together. But learn not to live together even there is no tragedy. But yes, look, what happened in one day to have this, nobody can understand how it happened. But anyhow, what can we say? We don't understand, and the only thing is we have to see what can we derive from such a terrible, terrible tragedy and lesson. We are going to back to the Gemara. We learn in Masechet Sotah, Tractate Sotah, page 6a4, Dav Vav, Amud Aleph. In English, as I said, 6a4. This in the Schottenstein edition. To recap what we did last week, the Mishnah was telling us there are some, we know from the beginning, a woman is being suspected. Here is Reuben came in, hello Reuben, suspected of adultery, and the husband warned her, and there are witnesses that she didn't abide by the warning. Then, in order to clear her name, she has to drink what we call the bitter water. However, the Mishnah was saying there are women that cannot eat truma. This is what a Kohen get, like from every agricultural product. Only Kohanim and their wives can eat. So the following, she can't eat truma. Who are those? That's because basically women that are already in the process of divorce, if she confessed that she had a relationship, or two witnesses came and said they saw her having a relationship, sexual relationship, or if she doesn't want to drink the water, or husband doesn't want to give her to drink. And so there is a list of a couple of things. The Gemara was, in this when we started, the Gemara wanted to say that a woman, if there are two witnesses who know that she was defiled, then the water will not have any effect on her. And this is what Rav Sheshet said. This is something that, so if there are witnesses, even if they didn't come and yet gave evidence, the very fact that there are witnesses and know of that, the water will not have any effect. And the Gemara wanted to bring a proof to his point from our Mishnah, because the Mishnah says if there are witnesses that that she's defiled, then the water won't. So the Gemara said, when did the witnesses, when they come and say that she she's guilty, when did they come? And they came before drinking. Obviously, no point to give her to drink because we know that she's Tmea, she's guilty. So must be that the witnesses came after she drank. In other words, we didn't know anything about witnesses. She drank the water, and then come witnesses and they say she defiled. Now, the question is, you've got evidence she defiled. On the other hand, you have the water that she drank and nothing happened to her. So you should say that the witnesses were disputed by the very fact that the water didn't have any effect on her. So Rav Sheshet wanted to bring this point, the very fact there are witnesses, the water will not have any effect. Against it came Rav Yosef, and he said, no, you can't say the water does not won't have the test because there are witnesses. No, could be a reason that in general, even if there are witnesses, it's still not a reason for the water not to prove. However, how could it be if the witnesses said that she defiled and the water she drank and nothing happened? There is another factor which can be for not having the effect, because there is a merit. Could mean that she's got a set merit that the water will not have anything, but can't say not everything. We are talking about the water will be something, but it won't cause her immediate death. So, and there we came to the point in 6a 4. The Micah Mifligi in the first column. The Micah Mifligi, in what point do they, Rav Sheshet and Rav Yosef, argue? What does Rav Sheshet consider our Mishnah a proof to his ruling, while Rav Yosef does not? The Mitnavna the Rebbe. They argue about whether the Rebbe is all the wasting away of Rabbi Detnan. In other words, Rebbe, he learns that there is such a thing, the merit all the little effects on the bitter water in abeyance, which will be אינה יולדת, אינה משקברת, she neither bears children, nor continues to thrive, אלא מתנבנה והולכת, she will waste away in progress, eventually she'll die. So Rav Sheshet, he holds that Rebbe and the rabbis who argue with him both agree that immediately begin to waste away. So if we see that the water didn't have any effect whatsoever, and there are witnesses who say that she evidence that she defiled, then we must come to the conclusion of Rav Sheshet, if there are witnesses, the water won't have any result. However, Rav Yosef, he holds that according to Rebbe, she would immediately begin to waste away. And according to the Rabbonim, the Chachamim, she wouldn't. So accordingly, we can say the Mishnah reflects the view of the rabbis, and the reason the Mishnah validates the testimony of the witnesses, despite the fact that she should no ill effect of the bitter water, is that we assume that her merits have suspended the punishment. Accordingly, the Mishnah has no proof to Rav Sheshet idea. This is what we learn. Now the Gemara continues. Mativ Rav Shimi Barashi. Rav Shimi Barashi challenged Rav Sheshet from the beginning of the Mishnah. The beginning of the Mishnah said, it's not in our Mishnah, later on, Rabbi Shimon Omer, En zchut Torah b'mayim amarim. He said, there is no such a thing that the merit will have any effect in the water on earth. Why? אם אתה אומר זכות עולה במים המרים, because if you hold that merit holds the effect of the bitter water in abeyance, מתחה אתה את המים בפני כל הנשים השותות. You undermine the aura of the waters in the minds of the women who must drink. ואתה מוציא שם רע על הטהורות ששתו. In other words, if women, let's say, they drank and nothing happened to them, you now defame these women by saying, it could be that they are guilty. And the reason why the water didn't have any effect, because they have a merit. And therefore, Rabbi Shimon says, you can't say that there is such a thing, a merit, to undermine the effect of this water. Now, come the Gemara and continue. Having cited Rabbi Shimon's view, Rav Shimi Barashi explained how the presence challenged Rav Sheshet. Now, in other words, what we want to say here, since Rav Shimon shows us that there is a possibility that a woman actually defiled, and yet the water won't have any effect. Why? Because she's got a merit. According to Rav Sheshet, there is another possibility if Rav Sheshet holds that if there are witnesses, then the witnesses, they know that she defiled, the water will not have any effect. Then you should also think that this will have a very negative results on women. They won't drink, and the people, on those that drank and are really completely innocent, you wouldn't say that they are clear, because you say maybe they're really defiled. However, because there are witnesses somewhere, they know about the water she was in fact defiled, and therefore she survived the water. So according to this point of Rabbi Shimon, there is a possibility the water doesn't work. If we will take your point, the witnesses also can be a reason, then there is no purpose in giving the water. Answer the Gemara to defend Rav Sheshet ruling. The Rabbi Shimon come out. You're going to bring a proof from Rabbi Shimon that said merit does not affect the validity of the water. According to Rabbi Shimon, I agree that also what I said, Rav Sheshet said, that witnesses can be a reason to invalidate the water. According to Rabbi Shimon, I agree that it can't be Rabbi Shimon's opinion. But according to the Chachomim, who hold against Rabbi Shimon, that can be a merit does invalidate, then, according to them, could be the very fact our witnesses can also invalidate the effect of the water. So the Gemara therefore says there is no question against Rav Sheshet from Rabbi Shimon, because Rav Sheshet cannot go along with Rabbi Shimon on idea that a merit can invalidate, because according to him, if a merit can invalidate, the knowledge of witnesses can be the same. But Rav Sheshet said, according to those with Chachomim who are against Rabbi Shimon, who said merit can invalidate, I must say the witnesses also could be to invalidate. So this is what the Gemara wanted to say until the end of the page. Now, in the last line, Mativ Rav. Rav now comes with another idea. Then the ruling. The Mishnah says, Elo sheminchotem nisrafot. The Sotah, the one that's suspected to be a Sotah, in the process, she also had to bring a korban mincha. Mincha, this is something from flour that had to bring to Bet HaMikdash, and there is a process. They have to burn it. This part of the process. So the Gemara want to say, Aomeret Me'ani. Usually, the menachot, the mincha, this is the mincha offering is an integral part of the Sotah procedure. The mincha cited here lists the instances in which the Sotah's mincha becomes unfit for offering, because it can neither be offered nor redeemed, but it must be burned. So the Mishnah said there are such the mincha, this offering, what do they call it, this offering? Mincha offering, which was made from flour. This mincha, which had to be part of the process, in case when the following cases, Haomeret Me'ani, if she admitted that she defiled, V'shebao edim sheitmea, or there are two witnesses who say that she defiled. So the water, now we ask the question, Emat, when did the witness come? If we say the Eidim, the witnesses come to say before this offering was dedicated to be offering, then why do you have to burn it? If they came that she defiled, nothing happened. It's not offering that has got any sanctity whatsoever. So must be that the Mishnah talking about that the witnesses came after. Atu Eidim, this is more analyzes. When did the witness come and testify against her? Thereby outing the Sotah procedure. If you say they came before the mincha, this offering was sanctified by being placed in a kli sharet. This is with a special bowl, which in the Mikdash it gives the sanctity.
Rav, you only got 2 minutes.
There's only 2 minutes, Rav.
I hear it, but I want to finish at least the sentence. Look, it says I'm thinking to myself, maybe the Gemara is complicated. It needs to be perhaps a longer session. I don't know, or to change the Gemara. We have to discuss. Is it, are you feeling that it was a good choice to learn this Gemara?
Yes, I think it's a good choice.
Okay, so if yes,
I think it's a good choice.
we will have to perhaps have longer session. Is it possible to have a longer session? The same.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll have to
decide
organize
in
it.
again.
We'll have to organize it, and we'll try and get instead of 40. What do you want? 50
Yeah,
minutes? You want more? An hour?
Maybe an hour, close to an hour.
An hour. We'll have to book an
Maybe.
hour.
If there is a possibility, because otherwise I
We'll,
can
we'll
see.
try and do
No,
a
no.
booking an hour, and I think they'll allow us.
Okay, so maybe next week we will have a better chance because now you say we are coming to an end, right?
Yeah, we got 1 minute
Yeah.
left, guys.
Yeah. So the subject is here. At least that we know. The question is, if there are witnesses that she defied,
Shoni?
will the water test be a test or not? This is machloket between Rav Sheshet and Rav Yosef, and each of them want to try and prove the point. Okay, so this
Yeah,
is what is.
very, very nice.
Thank you, man.
Brother Rav, have a
Thank
good
you very much,
Shabbos.
Rabbi.
Lovely.
Thank you,
Very
Rav.
nice.
Have a good
Thank you,
Shabbos.
Rabbi.
Shabbat shalom.
Good
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Thank you.
Yes,
shalom, Rabbi.
and let us hear good news.
Only good news.
Amen.
God.
Pray for us, everybody.
Bezrat
Amen.
Hashem.